School let out and it was raining really hard all day, and I had just moved actually because I had been neighbors with Luke for probably 13 or 14 years. We'd been neighbors, and I stopped at his house and waited for the flood to go down. Was the initial plan just to wait there?
We decided to go look at this creek that was near the house that he used to live at, and we just wanted to see how bad it was because we had never seen it rain that hard before.
The water had risen, and we were talking to the lady who had just bought our house, and we see a car pull up, which was Matt and his mom, and originally we didn't know what they were doing there, and we saw Matt get out, and he started walking through the water, and I was talking to the neighbor at this time, and Luke was watching him, and then suddenly Luke says that he saw him fall in.
We ran down there, and as his mom was running out, and we told the woman that lived at Lee's old house to get a rope so we could try to pull him out that way.
To the neighbor to go get us some rope and call 911. So we went over there, and at first we just tried to lift him up, and we thought it would be easy, not realizing that his legs were hooked underneath the culvert. And so we were just holding him up, and then when the rope got there, we tried wrapping it around his wrist and his waist and pulling him, but it just...
And we just, since the rope didn't work, we just went and tried to pull him up by his arms, and he wouldn't come up. So we just held him there for...
Was he stuck in a hole of some sort?
Yeah, he was trapped against the wall by the water, and his legs were hooked underneath, and he was just like, he was hooked there. You couldn't lift him up.
All we really could do was hold him above water and make sure that his head was above the water.
And Luke holding him up?
We were probably holding him up after we tried everything to get him out, and we realized there was nothing really we could do. We were just holding him. Me and Luke had a hold underneath each of his arms while Matt's mom was holding his head above water because the water was slowly rising this time. So we were probably holding him there for about 15 minutes until Luke's dad and mom heard the screaming from Matt's mom, and they came down, and then Luke's dad and a couple other neighbors came and relieved us because we were exhausted from holding him above the water. Plus, we were partially submerged in the water, and the force of the water was tremendous. So we were just trying to hold him above water, and that was for about 15 minutes. And then Luke's dad and the other neighbors relieved us for probably another 10 minutes until the emergency crews got there. They didn't even call for the tow truck. The tow truck heard the call on the radio, and I guess he was just coming to see if he would be needed, which normally in that situation you would think you wouldn't need a tow truck, but it was a good thing that it came because the water was
somehow somebody got the thing behind his back, like reached their arm behind his back and tied it around him. I'm pretty sure that's how it happened.
Do afterward?
We were just thankful that he was okay, and kind of just went back to my house and dried off because it was cold and wet.
Well, when me and Luke had to step aside, so did his mom and all the neighbors, like I said, and they pulled him aside, and he was out, and you could just see relief come over his mother's face. She was terrified the whole time, and me and Luke just kind of, it still hadn't hit us yet what had happened, and then after a while we went back to his house and just kind of let it soak in that what had happened, that he had almost died.
How do you feel about all the recognition that you've received?
I personally don't really like it because I'm a shy person, and it's just all the attention kind of, I don't know, I don't really want a lot of the attention that it came with it, but I'm just thankful that I was there to help. So.
Do you think that you're a hero? Let me put it to you this way. What do you think a hero is?
Someone who does something great for their community.
At the time, I didn't really realize that we had actually saved his life, but then after I thought about it and people were congratulating me for what I did, I realized that we actually did play a pretty big part in saving his life.